before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Anxious earth is rising. Anxious earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for this sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Anxious earth is rising. Anxious earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for this sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Well, that looks pretty close. What do you think? Does that look close? No. Oh my god, I got another fucking commercial. Unbelievable. Alright, now, how do I pause this? Is there a way to pause this thing? Oh, it won't even let me snooze. Unbelievable. Breaks during the stream. Is anybody even watching? Nobody's watching. Yeah, we're running. It's running an ad. Yeah, if you're on the, if you're watching on the VOD, my name is Ron. This is the Double Tribble channel, and I'm doing a stream. It's been a couple weeks, so it's going to be more scuffed than usual, as you can see. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in New Hampshire here. We're going to do an IRL here pretty quick. I got a video, so it's kind of a pseudo IRL. So all right, so I think we're back from the ad. Very well placed ad there, Twitch. Thank you. Right as I'm beginning the goddamn stream, you turn on an ad. All right. So anyway, this little thing here is what I do to try to sync the video. When this light comes on, it makes a little click, and then, anyway. All right, so I think we're in sync. I'm not sure. I think so. As far as I can tell, we're in sync, or very close to it. So you can read my lips and tell if I'm in sync or not. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're in sync. So, all right. So we're gonna try to do an IRL here, a pseudo IRL stream, which is how I do most of my IRL streams because I live in New Hampshire. This is like a third world country here. We don't have cell service or anything like that. So what I have to do, I have to use my little GoPro camera here, and I go and I take, go IRL and take pictures, but it doesn't go anywhere. It just goes into the camera, and then I come back here and download the video and do all and then play the video on my stream, and then I call that IRL. That's close to IRL. It's delayed. I figured it out. It's delayed just about 48 hours. This was Saturday morning that I did this thing. That I recorded this at the Norwich Farmers Market, which I think showed. Yeah, it says Norwich, they call it. Oh shit! I got a damn typo in there. All right, let me fix that. Yeah, it's just a few miles down the road here. I got to get on the highway and go down to Norwich in Vermont, which is really close. I live right next to the border here, so it makes it, I can go to Vermont or go to New Hampshire and do stuff. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Did that fix my typo? Let's see. Yep, it fixed it. Okay, good. All right, so I guess what I'll do is I'll try to figure out how to play this video. I guess first what I have to do is I have to find the video and then play it. Yeah, that's how we're going to do this. Okay, Norwich Farmers Market. All right, so I play that. Put that on pause. I'm playing with OBS here, which is a piece of software that they use on Twitch to do streaming. It's a lot of technical stuff, So what I'm going to do is try to make this, play this video. So I recorded it on my on my thing, on my GoPro. And so now what I'm doing is I'm going to try to make that play on my GoPro. So, okay, I've got the video now. Now all I have to do is get it lined up here. Damn, I guess I should have done this before I started the stream, eh? That would have been good. All right. Shit. All right, we'll let you see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to adjust this, you know, so that it will look good. For some reason, it thinks that I'm on a you know 4K video, so it's only showing me a portion of this thing. Isn't that a cool shadow though? Look at that shadow, huh? I don't know. All right, I'm pretty close to getting this adjusted here. Is that a little bit better? That's a little bit better. All right. I think that has the whole thing there now. All right, so I'll play this, and all right, I can't crop this. So it's going to look kind of goofy. The last part of it in there. There we go. All right. So we will. Can I do this? What if I do this? Does this work? I'll try one more thing here. See what this does. Because I don't like this. Oh no, that doesn't. That'll just mess me up. Okay. All right. So let me just play this, and while I play it, I think I'm going to try to while it's playing. I'm not going to narrate it. I'll just let it go. And if you guys have something to say in chat, just, you know, it's a live chat, but the video is on delay. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a delayed video. Video delay. You know how they delay video a few, like 10 seconds or whatever. I'm delaying it by 48 hours. So, all right. So let's give this a shot. See if this actually works. And while it's playing, I'll keep messing around with this, and we'll just go from there. All right. Let's see if this actually works here. Hear it. Yeah, it's working. All right. Enjoy.
I'll grab my bag then.
There you go. We're gonna, Mom is right in line. We're gonna go over.
I'm taller than you.
Get it? Yeah. Surely.
I'm in line.
Yeah. All right. I'll text you. See ya. Oh, really? Okay, you want to go say hi? I was thinking.
you find something?
Right here. Get some napkins.
No, Mama, don't.
You got a napkin? Yep, you got it. There you go. Good job. Okay, here you go. Okay.
Do you have mustard or anything? Mustard?
I'm steak and cheese.
How much for the water?
Oh, $1.
$1?
Yes.
You take wood nickels? Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
If I had some, they probably would have sold out by this time.
Microgreens, mushrooms. There's underneath.
Yeah, okay. So most of them.
You might not even notice it.
the blueberry bread too. Oh yeah, why
Less than $5. It is. Well, someone would want everything.
I'm thinking about you better because of his mouth.
Yeah.
So big. I don't even have a vase big enough for them. Hi, is that cauliflower? Is that organic?
Questions go to her.
The cauliflower, I'm not sure specifically about it, but if it's like a lot of our other things, the only thing that would be around it is like a hydrogen peroxide solution, and that would be sprayed before the plant flowers, so there's nothing on the actual vegetable. I'm not sure if there's a fertilizer we use with that one, but I think it would probably only be the hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
We got a runner.
Do you see it at the parking lot?
But I know that there's nothing on the actual veggie itself.
Okay, thank you.
Dumb question. Are you organic or
So we're not certified.
or you use organic practices?
We do mostly, the one thing for some of our berries, like our strawberries, we spray with a hydrogen peroxide solution, but that's it. And so it's like safe for your body, and it is before the plant flowers. So nothing is on the flower.
I'll do a raspberry and a blueberry. Like my blueberry. Wow. Wow. I see you have a lot of blueberries.
Yes,
All of the wrong-
we do.
Okay.
Wow. Raspberries.
The cauliflower 6.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm gonna
She even sees me now and she's like, oh.
So then you need to like, so
Yeah, I need to go for a bang. Usually not this busy, like.
I saw that sign. I was like, oh, I'm excited to try it. And then when I saw the sign up front, That's what summer's all about.
I'm not gonna hold it, are they?
It looks great from the outside. You go in, you're like, oh.
Hello? Oh, there you are. It's just here. Part of the regular week schedule.
All right, I'm pausing it for a second because you know, we're live on Twitch, and Twitch is running some ads right now. So I'm gonna. You didn't miss anything if you're. I'm gonna back it up a little bit, so people don't miss anything on live Twitch. Anyway, I guess this is the way it works. I'm gotta do ads. So when we're back from the ads, and I can't tell. Damn, I can't tell if we're back when we're back from the ads and when we're not. So anyway, so yeah, you can see this is the Norwich farmers market, and it's the video's delayed a little bit. That's all. This is 2 days ago. Today's Monday, July 21st, around noonish, and the video was Saturday around the same time, more or less. All right, so. All right, we're getting back to the farmers market now. The ads are over, and I backed it up a few seconds, so I don't think anybody will miss anything.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Yeah.
$4. You took a bag?
Oh, yeah, sure. You are getting
And
prices change all the time. And
Well, then we'll go elsewhere.
thank you.
Come on, Bear.
There we go.
How much is the chard?
$4.
$4? Okay. Yeah, I'll take one of those. I guess.
You're like wide out. You're like, Good. Thank you. All set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, they have raspberries.
Did you guys meet in undergrad or
Right here. Oh, may måste vi nu bedöma de måste.
Driving through Philadelphia Highway, and they were selling the plants.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh my god, they're all like
sorry? Okay, maybe I should.
Seriously.
Sure.
My heart is nice.
Oh, I should do that. Unless you want.
You should be cool. They look nice in there. I like your hat, and I like. Oh, talk to me.
All right. That was the farmer's market. Farmer's market in Norwich. I just let it run. It gave you a feel. We had an ad in the middle, of course. Twitch had to intervene there and give us an ad. But I think I managed it good enough that you saw the whole thing. So anyway, and I had the audio cut out for a second, which I pushed the wrong button here for a few seconds. So, but otherwise, that's the farmer's market. I've tried to stream that twice already. Let me get the mic closer here. This might make some noise. All right. Yeah, I've tried to stream that twice already. Oh, that was a little loud. Sorry. I've tried to stream that twice, and both times it messed up. You know, with my camera. I mean, my phone, my mobile phone. You know, they call them mobile phones now. Mobile device. What do they call them now? They don't call them cell phones anymore for some reason. But my cell phone. I tried to stream it. Phone. I guess they just call it phone now, right? I tried to stream it with my phone, but there's no. It says there's a cell signal, but apparently it wasn't good enough or something, and it messed up. It pixelated the thing, you know. So, and I tried it twice, and it pixelated it both times. So this time I used my GoPro, and I just, you know, just walked around with the GoPro, and it didn't go anywhere except into the camera, and then I just played it. So, so that works better. So I guess that's how I got to do my IRLs. I was able to do an IRL the other when was it? Oh, at the protest, the No Kings protest. Protest against authoritarianism. I was able to get my phone to work for that for some reason. Apparently, right where I was actually 2 different locations I did it, it was able to get a signal for those, but for some reason at the Norwich farmers market it doesn't work. So I did it the other way, and that worked. So there, done that finally. I'm not sure what I was going to do after that. I was going to do I want to do a thing where I play animal sounds, like mostly what I've recorded around here, but just any animal sounds, and then try to identify with the animal just by the sound. You know what I mean? Just play the sound like on stream. Play the sound, and then see if we could identify the animal just based on the sound of the thing. So I think that would be fun, but maybe I'll do that later. Because I record quite a bit of these animals around here, video, but then we could just play the audio portion of it, and then try to guess what kind of animal it is based on that. So I think that'd be fun. But since we just did something that had to do with food, maybe I'll do a prepper thing. Oh, let me change the title here. Right, I guess I can do that. Yeah, let's do vegan prepper, vegan prepper show. I don't know. I'll talk about it a little bit. Vegan prepper. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do vegan prepper. And then maybe I'll do news. There's been some news, I guess. Maybe I'll talk about the news. Vegan prepper, but this kind of leads into, how do you spell prepper? Does prepper have 2 P's in it? Yeah, I think it does, because pepper has 2 P's in it, right? All right, and I'll change the. I'll just say just chatting, right? That's the cat. You can't go wrong with that. Everybody uses that category, and we'll get rid of that. No more IRL. I'll put a food category in there. No, we'll put a vegan. Do I have a vegan in there? Yeah, I already got a vegan. All right. I'm doing a little. You can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm changing the titles, right? So on the stream, so it makes more sense when people come. Hey, you got a chatter. Hi, sir. I have a chatter named Nightly DE86. I don't know what that is. Am I reading that correctly? Night, N-I-G-H-T, oh, H-I-D-E. So it's Night Hide 86. Okay, got it. Just clicked on a random stream and figured I'd check you out. Great. Thank you for stopping by. Give me a follow. I need more followers. I stream IRL. Sometimes I stream vegan stuff, food stuff, animals, science. I do a lot of science stuff, science and technology. I do movie reviews. If you like movies, I do a lot of movie reviews. Haven't done any in a while, but do pretty extensive, reviews of movies. A lot of different stuff. But I'm a geek, so I do tech stuff, and I'm vegan, so I do vegan stuff too. We just did a IRL of the Norwich farmers market. It's a virtual IRL. I take the video with the camera, and then play it back on stream because I live way out here in the middle of rural New Hampshire, where we don't get cell service. So that's the only way I can do IRL. But now what I wanted to do was talk about prepping. Prepping, you know what prepping is? Prepping when you're, try to be prepared for emergencies, or if something happens and you don't have, you're cut off from the grid or whatever, because of something happens, you got to have your own food supply and water and power and all that kind of stuff. So I've done this before. I've done a little stream about vegan prep, and I thought I'd do that on this one too, since we just talked about food at the IRL. So what I've done is I just went shopping right at the farmer's market, and I also went to the regular market, and I bought a bunch of stuff, and I wanted to show you how I prep as a prepper, a vegan prepper. That's kind of a joke. There is somebody actually on YouTube called Vegan. They have the name of their channel is called Vegan Prepper. They haven't streamed in a while or put any videos up in a while, as far as I can tell. So shout out to them. Give them a follow, I guess, since I'm using their name for my title of my stream there. Vegan Prepper. So anyway, it's just kind of funny. Let me show you what I'll do is I'll show you stuff that I buy. You might even be able to see it in the background there. Some of it here. See some of that. I've got containers, and all those containers are full of food. Well, they're not full right now, but they have a lot of food in them. And what I do is I just buy. I don't have a lot of money. I'm a poor person, but I buy a little bit extra if I can. If I got enough SNAP benefit or whatever to buy extra food, I can buy a little bit extra and then put it in there. Each month or each time I go shopping. I usually shop like every couple weeks or whatever, or once a month. I don't know. I try not to shop like every other day or something, because I try to cut down on the amount of travel, right? The amount of energy and all that, global warming, the whole thing. So let me show you some of the stuff that I bought and how I prepare, and some of that other stuff. So let me grab some of those things. I bought these things here. These are dry fruits, and they've got all kinds of different ones. You can buy almost any kind of fruit you can buy that's dry. You can dry the fruit, right? And what I do is when I buy everything, let me sit down here again so you can see what the hell I'm doing. When I buy this stuff, I check the date, the expiration date. This one doesn't seem to have one. Oh, there it is. God. And they always hide it. They hide the expiration date. Can you see that? No, you can see that. Good. My camera's on autofocus for some reason. I usually don't put it on autofocus, but for some reason it is. So I find that first thing, when I get the stuff and I'm putting it away and all this kind of these are like extra things that I had. I bought my stuff for my regular food that I use, and these are like extra items that I bought. And this one says it's 6/13/26. So what I do is I write that on the front of it. 6/13/26. See, like that. And the reason I do that is so it's very easy to see when the expiration date. Oh shit! I've got some goddamn. All right, I'm gonna shut up here. Twitch is running ads right now, so if you're on the VOD, you're just gonna see me sit here and not talk for a little bit as the ads run. Did it come back? Okay, it's back. All right, I guess that ad, that was just a short ad. All right. So I don't know how long that ad was, but anyway, these are little stuff, right? I got dry fruit, and just these little extra stuff that I bought when I went shopping. And I do this every time I go shopping, or as much as I can. If I got enough extra money on my SNAP thing, I can get a little bit extra more food. And I try to find the expiration date, and the first thing I do is I write the expiration date really big on the front of it. And the reason why I do that is because if you're in an emergency, right, these are packed away somewhere like emergency food, and if there's an emergency of some sort, it might happen at night and you can't see very well or whatever, you know, the last thing you want to do is to be sitting there trying to figure out if your food is expired or what, you know, whatever. So that's, anyway, I do that, and it makes it easier. And also, your food, the food that's in your emergency supply, you don't want to just have that set aside and wait for it to spoil. You want to try to use it, right? So it's like a first in, first out type of thing. So the new food I put in, and then the stuff that's getting ready to expire, then I just go ahead and actually use that and eat that as food. And then that way I don't, you know, have minimal waste that way. Okay, this one has another, look, there's the expiration date. You can barely see it. Some of them are almost impossible to find. 5/8/26. So this one is 5/8/26. Sorry, right, 5/8/26. And it's really big right there, so you can do that. I wish they would make a rule or something so that food companies have to put the expiration date, you know, right on the front or somewhere where you can actually read it. Then I got these things here. These are, I had a coupon for these. Chewy fruit, not they're trail bars or whatever. See these things here, trail bars. Trail mix, it says. This isn't trail mix. These are basically candy bars. I looked at the ingredients, and you know, if you're vegan, you know, when you're shopping for stuff. Oh wait, we got some chat messages here. Hang on just a second. Okay. Nighthide says, I just clicked. Okay, let's see. I love movies. Oh yeah. Oh, I used to work at Blockbuster. Oh, cool. Yeah, Blockbuster kind of got wiped out by the internet, didn't they? By a lot of other stuff. So yes, I do prepping here. Good. That's good that you do prepping. Okay, so yeah, I'm vegan, right? And I've been vegan for a long time. Over 40 years I've been vegan, so I've been doing this a long time. And so when I buy something new that I've never bought before, I look at the ingredients, and I can scan the ingredients really fast to see if it has any non-vegan stuff in it, right? But I don't really pay that much attention to it. And I scan this one. Let's see if you can see that. You see that? Oh, look at that. That's really good. All right, so it says whole grains. It's got all this stuff, right? And I don't see any non-vegan stuff in there, right? There's nothing in there that's not vegan. But it's got some stuff in there that's vitamin E. I don't know why I put vitamin E in there, you know. Oh, it says added to retain freshness. Okay, so they put vitamin E as a preservative. That's kind of weird. But anyway, so when I bought this thing, I had a coupon. I said, okay, we'll try this out. The coupon was for all I could choose from like 4 or 5 different flavors of this. This was the only one that had vegan ingredients. The other ones had whey or honey or, you know, crap like that in it. So I scanned it. It's great. That's vegan. And I put it in my cart, and so I bought it. But then I get home and I was looking at it a little closer, and I looked at the ingredients, and this is like, you know, it's got corn syrup. It's got, you know, look at this stuff that it has in there. Can you see that? It's got corn syrup and sugar and they're basically candy bars. It's not trail mix. Fructose. It's got corn syrup, sugar, and fructose, and cornstarch. I mean, it's got, you know, it's basically a diabetes bomb is what these things are. So whatever, I bought them. You know, I guess in an emergency, if I'm starving, you know, I'll eat them, right? So All right, so I don't know. I got to find the expiration date on this thing. I don't see an expiration date. Do you see an expiration date? I don't see it anywhere on here. Look at that. There's no... My guess is that they never expire because it's made out of, it's basically sugar. Sugar doesn't go bad. It just, so maybe there is no expiration. Okay, I'm not gonna. And and another thing is that they call it Nature Valley, right? It's natural, like natural, right? But that's just the brand name. So people think, oh, nature, And it says whole grain, 8 gram, whole grain, 8 grams of whole grain. It's got whole grain. Who cares if it's got whole grain? It's basically just sugar. So anyway, and then you know what on these in the U.S. they have this labeling system, and it's so screwed up that they don't put in. They got how many servings per container, which is one per bar, which is okay, I guess. But what they should do is put on here is how much per container. If you buy a bag of potato chips, they'll say, this bag of potato chips has 4 servings or 8 servings or something. But if you open a bag of potato chips, most people just eat the whole bag, right? Or it's not like you don't eat just one serving of the thing. And the reason they do that is so that all the bad ingredients can be minimized. So you can look at it and say, oh, it only has 1 gram of this or whatever. But when you look at the whole package, it's a whole bunch, and they also put on there the percent daily. See what it says on here, percent date. Right here, it's got the percent daily of stuff. So that's really low, right? You got sugar and all the stuff, and it's really low. But if you take the whole package, it's way over. I mean, this is not, you wouldn't eat this all at one time anyway. But you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they gotta fix that, I think. There was a guy I saw on C-SPAN today. Let me play that. The guy from the FDA was on there. Those food labels are actually not FDA, but this guy was on C-SPAN today. Let me play that. All right, and I'll because he's actually talking about this kind. He's talking about labeling. He's talking about how they're putting junk on our food and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of important. So I'll do that. I'll play that. Let's see here. It takes me a second to get this going here because I'm not good at this stuff. There we go. Okay, so we'll play this. All right, is that right? Can you see that? Yeah, that's on there. You can see that. So I'll play this little thing. Oh, let me get rid of that Norwich market thing. That's not right, is it? All right. What else do I got to do here? Let me put my mug up in the corner just so I don't know why. Is that better? No, that's not better. Here, I'll put my mug over here so it doesn't interfere with their label. Okay. So I'll play this guy's, what he says, and then I'll comment on it.
Chemicals,
right,
baby
here we
formula, you also have focused on dietary guidelines. Why start there?
Well, the dietary guidelines, that is the old food pyramid, is probably one of the most damaging pieces of misinformation in the history of government and healthcare. It was a food pyramid constructed not based on medical science or good data. It was based on what the industry wanted you to buy. It ignored the fact that 70% of what kids eat is an ultra-processed food diet. It ignored many other chemicals in the food supply, and it demonized natural saturated fat. So the 70-year war on natural saturated fat.
Okay, this guy's he's talking about the food pyramid. Remember the food pyramid? I'm a little older than this guy, and I remember when the food pyramid. The food pyramid is what before the food pyramid they had the 4 food groups. 4 food groups. I'm a little older than this guy, so he might not remember the 4 food groups, but the 4 food groups used to be. What were they? It was meat and dairy and cigarettes and corn. I think were the something like that. It was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous, you know. And and the guy makes a good point. He's talking about, you know, the food industry who drives these things, right? It has nothing to do with what's healthy or anything like that. It's the food industries that drive the nutritional recommendations that the government puts out. So anyway, he was just making that point. Now he mentioned saturated fat, which saturated fat is bad. It's, you know, it's bad for you. If you eat meat, it'll kill you eventually. You know, it'll give you a heart attack. So I don't know why they're not, you know, meat is full of cholesterol and saturated fat and all this stuff. So that's obviously an industry thing, why they're doing that. But anyway, I'll play the rest of this and we'll make some more comments on it.
It's going to end in our new dietary guidelines that we hope to have out by the end of this year.
You mentioned ultra-processed foods. Something that you've also been looking at is defining that. Why hasn't that been done before? What impact will it have?
I think, you know, first of all, it came with good intentions, the idea that, hey, grains are good for you, and then there was mass production of grains to address food insecurity, that is starvation. But what happened in the mass production and in the efforts by the food manufacturers to maximize shelf life is that we created basically these new compounds that don't appear in nature. We've taken grains and stripped them of their fiber and chopped them up, and it functions like sugar in the body. So it's got what we call in medicine a high glycemic index. It's stimulating the pancreas. And take a look at the population. We've got 1/4 of adults now with diabetes or prediabetes. It's epidemic in children. So this is not their fault. This is something being done to them. And while, look, we believe in freedom and you should be able to eat whatever you want, ding-dongs or, you know, cupcakes, donuts. When we're using taxpayer dollars, we want it to go to healthier foods. So you see in this Trump administration the first ever SNAP waivers for the food assistance program so that it will not go to junk food and sugary drinks in some states now.
Okay, that's a couple things there. What he's saying. First, he said something that makes sense, right? He says that it's that a lot of the foods have sugar in it, and sugar is bad for you, right? And I just explained that, right? I just with those nature bars that are basically candy bars, and you know, and he explained that, and it is, and sugar is bad for you. Sugar is like toxic, just about. I mean, it really is. It's as bad for you as alcohol, just about, because it goes to your liver. You know, it gives you diabetes. There's a lot of bad stuff that sugar does. So that's good that he says that. But then he says that the government is going to tell people what to eat. I mean, he says, oh, the government isn't going to tell you what to eat, but he just said they're going to change it so that people who get SNAP, which SNAP in the U.S. SNAP, it means SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition something program. So yes, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's what it's called, SNAP. So it used to be called food stamps. Okay, but he's saying, well, the government is going to pick and choose what people can eat now, who are on SNAP, the poor people, right? And do you think that the government is going to make decisions based on what's healthy and what's not and all that stuff? They're starting with this stuff, but he just a few seconds ago he talked about saturated fat, saying saturated fat isn't bad for you. It is bad for you. Saturated fat is bad for you. It gives you heart attacks. And, you know, the only reason that they're doing that is because the cattle industry wants people to eat more cows. You know, so they're trying to get in there and say, pick and choose what foods people can eat, poor people can eat, and they're not going to pick it based on what's healthy, right? They're going to pick it on who gives them the biggest bribes. That's who's going to be in the get the subsidies from the SNAP, right? Which foods that people can buy. So you see how that works? The food. So if there's a Coca-Cola, right? If they have a lot of money and they have lobbyists or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know if this is true or not, but say a soft drink, or let's say a soft drink company. Suppose they have a lot of lobbyists in Washington. They pay, basically bribe the administrators in the FDA or the congressman or whoever, and they'll say, okay, we won't remove your food from this thing. We'll allow the SNAP benefits to go for that food, but the people who don't give them a big enough bribe, then they'll take their food off of the SNAP thing. That's how that's going to work. Okay, that's why they're doing that. Has nothing to do with nutrition or anything else. It's just a way for them to make more money from bribes. So anyway, I'll play this some more now here.
Our guest for the next 40 minutes or so is Dr. Marty Makary. He is the Commissioner for the Food and Drug Administration. If you have a question or comment for him, you can start calling in now. I mentioned a couple of the...
All right, I guess that was it. That was the end of the thing. All right, so I wanted to play that because that was because we were talking about food. So he was in there, so I decided to play that. So yeah, that's if they make a change to SNAP, what they should do is change it so SNAP can be used for non-food items. Oh, we've got an ad that's running. Okay, all right. I'll wait for the ad to run. Let me get some other stuff here while we're waiting for that ad. If you're on the VOD, you can just skip over this part. Oh, the ad's over. Okay, ad's done. Hang on just a second. All right, so we're. I don't know what I was talking about there when the ad came. Basically, yeah, the way they're going to decide the. If that actually goes through, if they actually start picking and choosing what foods people can eat, who are the poor people, they ain't gonna decide based on what's healthy. They're gonna decide on who gives them the biggest bribe. Whatever company gives them the biggest bribe, then those companies will be in the on the list of foods that poor people can buy. What they should do, that's what I was saying. What they should do. If they're going to change it, if they actually are going to get in there and change the thing, they should change it so that poor people can buy any basic stuff, not just food, but like, toilet paper and paper towels and tampons and medicine and, oil medicine. I guess they got that covered through some other thing, but, that kind of stuff, soap, shampoo, the basics, that all those things should be on SNAP too. So the poor people can, don't just buy food, because maybe they have, if they have the full amount of the SNAP benefit, maybe that's more than they actually need, and they end up buying more food than they need, and then they get fat. You know what I'm saying? But if they opened it up and said, okay, you can use these SNAP benefits to buy, paper towels or shampoo or soap or whatever, then that would be better. And I think that's also a way to handle as a path. I think that's a good way to get a path towards basic income. Universal basic income. Night Hide's got to go. Okay, we'll catch you later, Night Hide. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think that would work, because that's how, universal basic income is something that people have difficulty understanding or getting their head around. It seems like it's something that's much different, than what we've done before. But we're going to have to do it because AI is going to take everybody's jobs. We're going to have robots and AI, and maybe 5 or 10% of the people who are working now will be working in 5 years from now or 10 years from now or whatever. So what are you going to do with all those people? How are they going to survive? SNAP isn't going to do it. SNAP will take care of their food, but it won't take care of other stuff. So I think that might be a way to get to universal basic income, is to do it through the SNAP program. Because I don't think Congress will just actually do universal basic income. They won't do it that way, but they could sneak up on it with the SNAP program. Say, okay, if you're gonna change it so that you can't buy candy bars with your SNAP, or Coke or something with your soft drinks with your SNAP, then put in other stuff. Put in paper towels and shampoo and soap and all, the basics, And I think you could do that, and then keep adding more basics to that, and just keep increasing it and open it up so that people can use the SNAP benefits to buy basically any, almost anything, except, maybe alcohol or something, or, I don't know. I think that's a path to do it, because then that would almost be like a universal basic income. But then you could even open it up and say you could use it to buy housing, right? And increase the amount, and then people could use that for the rent too, and then it becomes like a universal basic income. All right, so I got some more stuff here. I got a lot of junk food because they had coupons for a lot of junk food, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I try to buy stuff that's on sale or whatever, that I can afford more. So this has an expiration date. These chips usually have an expiration date that's sooner than most stuff, but it's still a couple months out. So this is October 21st. So I'll put this in here, October 21st, 25. So that's, should I write that on there? And this is junk too, so I probably shouldn't eat that too much. I think most people who buy chips aren't going to have them on the shelf long enough to expire. It's the type of thing that people just grab and eat, 10, 24, 25. So this one's 10, 24, 25. This one I think might be more healthy. I'm not sure. There we go. I wrote it on there. This one is organic. It says organic, and it's a sea salt, so it has salt in it. That's not good. That's another thing that people should eat too much of, is salt. Salt's basically a preservative. You know, it's not. I guess you got to eat some of it, but the ingredients on this are pretty good. Look at the ingredients on that one. It's got organic, non-GMO corn, and was it sunflower oil and salt and a little bit of lime. That's it. So this stuff's pretty good. You know, doesn't have a lot of nutrition, but it's not stuff that'll kill you right away. So, and I also buy these in bulk as much as I can. These are garbanzo beans, otherwise known as chickpeas. And I buy a lot of beans. I buy dry, and I put them into a pressure cooker, so they cook faster. These beans normally would take a couple hours on the stove to cook them, but you put them in a pressure cooker and they take an hour instead. So I buy those in bulk, and I didn't put the. Did I put the date on here? I think I have the data already on this one. So these last forever anyway. It doesn't matter. You know, I 10 years from now I could pull these out and cook them and eat them, and there's no problem with it. All right, I got another one here. These things. This is a big major brand. You know, this one expires in September 23rd, 25. Let's come up pretty soon here. September. Let's see, September 23rd. 25. Wrote that on there. Look a little bit better. All right, and I spilled some of my beans over there when I was moving them around. And I also buy oatmeal in bulk and a few other things, other nuts. Peanuts I buy in bulk, a whole bunch of peanuts. I buy them in the shell, so they just taste fresher and they're better and they're cheaper and everything else. So, all right, what else was I gonna do here? Did I have any other videos that I was gonna show? All right, I played that video. Let's see here. I did the IRL. Okay, I guess that's it. That I forgot what else I was going to do. Oh, the news, right? I haven't done news for a while, so let's do that. Let's go into the news now. Yeah, let me change my stream info. I don't think is there anything else I got to talk about in vegan prep? Oh, I know what I got to talk about. Yeah, if you're doing any prepping, you got to make sure you include these N95 masks, which you should be wearing anyway, because people are still dying from the COVID, the COVID virus. These are N95, and they say N95 on them. You see that? And if you get a mask like this, it has to say N95 and it has to say NIOSH, N-I-O-S-H. You see that up there? I don't know if that's can you see that where it says NIOSH, N-I-O-S-H? It has to say NIOSH, has to say N95, and it should have a number like this, TS or whatever this number right here. It should have one of those numbers on it too, and that's how you know it's a real N95 mask. Also, if it has those loops that go behind your ears, then it's not an N95 mask. That's something else, and it may not protect you like an N95 mask does. And they don't have to have these little exhalation valves on it. I prefer them because especially when it's warm, it allows the moisture to escape more out of the mask, so it's a little bit better. But you don't need it. You can just have the regular one that doesn't have that special valve on it. But you got to make sure that it has these straps that go all the way behind your head. You don't buy the ones that just have the ear loop that goes around your ear. Those aren't N95. And when you wear them, you got to make sure that they make a firm seal around here. This part here has to make a firm seal on your face all the way around. Don't have any air leaks at all. And then they usually have a piece of metal here that you can adjust over your nose, because your nose is kind of an area where the mask likes to leak, you know. So they give you this little metal clip here that you can form. When you form this clip, don't use just one finger or your thumb or anything. Put it on your mouth, on your face, get it all adjusted and everything, and then use 2 fingers to push and adjust so it doesn't kink, you know, because that'll allow it to air to get in. If it makes a sharp bend, you want to make it a gradual bend around your nose. What else? They all come with instructions. All of them have an instruction sheet that they come with somewhere that explain how to put them on, so you can read those instructions. But basically, you just want to make sure that it makes a seal all the way around, and none of the air can leak in. And then, and of course, wear it whenever you are in public, right? Or not just public, but anytime you're around other people, you should wear your mask, N95 mask. If you're outdoors, you notice that on that IRL, I was wearing an N95 mask. Even though I was outside. That was probably a low risk situation, because the sun, it was bright sun, midday sun, which kills the virus. The UV rays from the sun will kill the virus, the virus that's in the air. And it was outdoors, and there was wind blowing, stuff like that. But there were a ton of people there, you know, and it was really crowded. So I still wore it anyway. You know, and it's more dangerous to go without your N95 mask in public than it is to go without wearing your seatbelt when you drive. That's true. That's true. It's when you crunch all the numbers, it's a higher risk to go without an N95 mask than it is to drive without a seatbelt. So very important to wear your mask. So that's something that you got to put in your prepper stuff, right? And bottled water, right? You got to have a bunch of bottled water. Flashlights and that kind of thing. It's a good idea to try to use your stuff as much as you can, you know. Try going without power for like a night or two to kind of flush out all the stuff, you know, what you need in order to go without power. You know what I mean? Try it out, and then you'll see, oh, this isn't the right kind of flashlight. This won't work, or whatever. You'll find out that all the different problems that way. What else? I guess that's it. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of different stuff that you need. Yeah, you don't have to worry. I guess you should have something to start a fire if you need that. A few other things, but stuff to stay warm. But I mean, you're going to have that anyway around your house. But and food and water, and some way to cook it. Right? You got to have it like something that'll work without power. A little burner or something that'll work off of propane or something like that, you know, or a barbecue, you know, or something like that. I don't have barbecue, obviously, but we're talking about vegan prepping, right? Vegans don't barbecue too much. I guess you can. I guess they got fake meats and stuff you can do that with, but yeah. All right, I can't remember what it was that I was going to do something else. Coming up, I got some stuff. I've got, I want to do a stream on the twin paradox. Because almost a year ago, I did a stream, and I was talking about relativity or something like that. And in that stream, I said, "Oh, I'll do a stream on the twin paradox here pretty soon." And it's been almost a year, and I haven't done it. So I want to do that. And somebody, one of the stream, who was it? Ivan Neo did a mention the twin paradox a couple streams ago. I guess I should give him a shout out. Yeah, he did a. He talked about it. Actually, he talked about it in some depth a little bit. He got into it a little bit. Let's see if that works. Unauthorized command. Well, that didn't work. All right, hang on a second here. All right, I think that worked. Let's see if that's really him. I'm trying to give him a shout out here. Okay, we got an ad running anyway, so if you're live here on Twitch, you're getting an ad. 1 follower. Okay, that's not the right guy. Shit. Why didn't that work? Damned. Yeah, if you're on a VOD, you can just skip over this part because I'm trying to do a show. Okay, our ads are over. All right, we're back. I'm trying to give a shout out to Ivan Neo, but for some reason I'm spelling the name wrong or something. I want to make sure I get this right. So anyway, he talked about the twin paradox. Those of you who are not familiar with the twin paradox, it's a has to do with physics and relativity, general relativity, that sort of thing. And it's basically about it's a thought experiment. Because we can't actually, we don't have spacecraft that can actually go, half the speed of light or 90% of the speed of light or whatever. But in a thought experiment, they do, and the idea is that you have twins, right? Two people that are twins. You stick one of them on a rocket and send them off into space, traveling close to the speed of light, and when they come back, they're younger than the twin that stayed on Earth. And that's the way relativity works. And that's not the paradox. That's just the way relativity works. The paradox is that in relativity, special relativity, it's about inertial frames. Inertial frames means everybody, some people who are not accelerating or slowing down or whatever, they're just kind of floating through space, right? Without, we're not moving, okay? Not moving or moving at a steady space where it doesn't seem like they're moving. And if you've got any two people who are in inertial frames like that, can say that the other one is moving. You know what I'm saying? If you got two people and one of them's here and the other one's just drifting by, you know what I'm saying? In space, right? The spaceship here, another spaceship comes drifting by. This person here, when they look at this spaceship coming by, they think, oh, I'm standing still and this spaceship is coming by me. But if you're on this other spaceship that's coming by and there are no other things around to tell you, it looks like this spaceship is coming by this way. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're on a train, or you're on a train in a train station and you're sitting there and a train next to you starts to slowly take off and you think, oh, our train is going now, but it's the other train. You know what I'm saying? It's relative, right? That's how relativity works. So on the twin paradox, the idea is that it's either twin could say that they are the one that's standing still and the other one is the one that's traveling. But it's not anyway. So that's the paradox. But it's been resolved. But it's just something. There's actually controversy about it. This is something that came up 100 years ago. They came up with this thing. Einstein first talked about it, and then other people actually turned it into this actual thought experiment of twins, you know. And but even physicists and everybody don't get it right, you know, all the time. They talk about it and they get something wrong, you know, in the physics or whatever. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to talk about it, and I want to do like a thorough treatment of it. Explain the whole thing in a way that I think nobody else has, that I've been able to find. So that's coming up. And I'd also like to do a stream where I play animal sounds. I don't think I have enough animal sounds to do a whole stream about that, but maybe in the next couple streams here, maybe. I'd like to do it when I have, you know, enough people in chat, and then people could actually. What I'll do is I'll play the animal sound without a video or anything. Just play the animal sound only, and then have people try to guess what animal it is, you know, and see if they can guess what it. And I actually have some animal sounds here that I don't know what they are. I don't know. I can tell like, okay, maybe it's a bird, okay, but I don't know what kind of bird. So, and they can fool you too. Like squirrels sound like squirrels and chipmunks sound like birds sometimes, or you know, and birds can make little chip sounds that sound like insects or whatever, you know. So it's not cut and dried, you know. It's not that easy to figure it out. All right, let's do some news stuff here. All right, let's see how I can do this here. Let's see if I can bring this up. Watching a video. Okay, yeah, I think I can do this. Oh shit, that's not it. All right, hang on a second. I'll get this figured out. I know I can do this. Window. Properties. I got to click a gazillion things here to get this to work. There we go. Okay, it only took about 8 clicks and navigating 3 different menu systems there to get to this to get this thing up here. That's the way Twitch works, or OBS. All right, first I'll do the obituaries. I get two obituaries here that I found that I thought were interesting. This guy here, Al, and it's not. These were old people. It's not like sad, you know, deaths or whatever. I mean, it's sad for the families, I'm sure, but anyway, it's not going to spoil the mood, I don't think. This guy, Al Walid bin Khalid Al Saud. This is one of the royal, you know, a prince or whatever, and the Saudi royal family or whatever. So he just died a couple days ago, July 19th. And the interesting thing about this, when I saw this, I thought, oh, is that the guy, you know, are they going to change who's running the show over there, or what's going on? Because the name sounded familiar, you know. It sounded like it was, you know, one of the big, you know. I thought it was a king or something that died, and they were going to change power or whatever, but that's not what it was. It's just this guy. I didn't even know about this, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because maybe other people had not heard of this before. This guy is called. His nickname is the Sleeping Prince. The Sleeping Prince. Here, I'm going to change this to dark. There we go. Is that better? That's a little bit easier on the eyes. Sleeping Prince. So what happened was this guy got in a car accident back in 2005. I don't know what kind of accident it was or whatever, but anyway, he had brain damage and it put him in a coma. And he's been in a coma for 20 years. So they call him the Sleeping Prince because he's been just lying there in a coma for 20 years. Because he got this brain damage in this accident. And then now he's finally died just a couple days ago. So it's just kind of, I'd never heard of that. I didn't know this guy was in a coma or, that it was a thing. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, I got to change my thing here. Hang on just a second. I got to change my title of my stream here to something else now. I guess we're done talking about vegan prepping, right? Let's news, Monday news. I'll call it Monday news. There we go. I'll just leave it chatting. I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can add another one here. News. Add tag. All right. Let's see if that works here. Did that change my... Yeah, Monday news. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, so he was the eldest son of this guy, the grandson of this prince, Anyway, he was part of the royal family there. I just thought it was interesting that this guy was in a coma for 20 years. I just never heard of that, I guess they don't want to. Maybe that's something they don't want to promote, people who are like kings and stuff and authoritarian type monarchies and stuff like that are want to put forth an image of strength or whatever. And I guess somebody lying in a bed in a coma for 20 years just doesn't fit into that narrative. So, all right, so. This is another guy. I guess we're doing obituaries here. This guy died also. His name is Faja Singh. Never heard of him either. But he's a vegetarian. So, but the thing is, he was born in 1911, according to him. He doesn't have a birth certificate because they weren't. At that time, they didn't do birth certificates in India, or at least the part of India he lived in. So he doesn't have a birth certificate, but he says he was born in 1911. And so he's kind of a thin guy because he was a runner and a vegan, and not vegan, vegetarian. So he's a vegetarian and a runner, which is a good combination if you want to live a long time, I guess. And he's thin, right, because he ran so much. And so 1911, April 1911 to April 1st, 1911. Oh, I get it. Okay, so maybe that's why nobody believes it. All right, April 1st, 1911 to July 14th, 2025. So that would make him 114 years old. So that's pretty old. So the thing that I thought was interesting, besides the fact that the guy is vegetarian and he's a runner and he's really old and all this kind of stuff, plus this image. Look at this. Look at this. I just thought that was kind of a cool image. With this, he's got the gray hair and the tweed and the gray. What do you call that? I don't know what you call that. It's not a turban. I forget what they call it. But I just thought that was a cool image. So anyway, you think, okay, he's an old guy. He died, you know, from old age or whatever, or he died from cancer, or who knows, right? No, that's not why he died. He got run over or something. He got in an accident, a hit and run. He was walking across the street, and a car hit him and killed him. So that's 114 years old. You know, what a life, and what a way to go, right? I mean, you live to 114, and he's out walking around at 114 years old and gets hit by a car. I mean, you know, if you want to live a life, that's the way to do it, right? Be a runner. He's vegetarian, and he lives to 114, and he doesn't have some, you know, long drawn out death from cancer or something like that. He died right away. Somebody hit and run. So I thought that was interesting. So that's that guy. I guess there are other guys out there too. I looked at the bottom of this Wikipedia article here, and there's another guy here who says he's 119 years old. Same deal, right? He didn't, you know, from parts of India where they didn't have birth certificates at the time. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. And I wanted to go talk about some other news items if I can find it. Let's see. That's what I found. I found those going through the this thing called. Here, let me bring this up. This is the Wikipedia. You know, on the Wikipedia page here. Let me go here. On the first page of the Wikipedia, they have this thing in the news here. I'm sure you've seen that, right? If you used Wikipedia, right? On the first page, they got this thing that says in the news. And what that is they pick things, actually articles that are kind of have some sort of news thing about them. And so they pick those articles. Oh, I got an ad here coming up in just a few seconds here. But anyway, after the ad, I'll explain what goes on. They have a thing here where you can nominate the ad, or nominate the articles to be put in this section of the Wikipedia thing. So, all right, so we got some ads coming up. I don't want them to interrupt what I'm doing here. So we'll wait for those ads to come and go. Said they're coming. I don't know. I don't see them yet. I'm on a little bit of a delay. So I'll go to that here. I'll go to that page. This is the page where the Wikipedia editors figured out. All right. The ads came finally. Okay, so if you're on the VOD, if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere, or on my website, doubletribble.com, then you're not seeing the ad. You might be, if you're on YouTube, you might be seeing some ads from YouTube, but this is a live stream, so they're playing an ad right now on Twitch. But you're not seeing the ad because it only goes to the live people. The people are watching it live. So, all right. I don't know. It's a picture about something, spy cam or something. What else you got? You got a pressure washer, something totally useless thing. Just waste energy and water. Okay. Ooh. All right, I think the ads are over. As far as I can tell, they're over. We'll see. All right, ads are over. All right, so this is where the Wikipedia editors try to figure out what they're going to put in that, this part, this in the news thing here, section of Wikipedia. So they have a page here where they discuss it, and people nominate articles, that have something to do with the news. And most of the nominations are obituary type stuff. So here's, let's see what we got here. Oh, a fighter jet crashes into a college in Bangladesh. Oh my God. Let's see what that's about. That doesn't sound good, does it? Yeah, content warning. There might be, we're talking about the news here, so might be some stuff that's difficult to look at. So I'm just going to look here really quick. So it was a fighter jet. Okay, it was a training fighter in who knew that Bangladesh had fighter jets, whatever. So they got a fighter jet that crashed into a while students were attending classes. God, that's terrible. Especially manufactured. Okay. F7BGI. Bangladesh Air. Okay, that is a Chinese aircraft, a Chinese fighter jet. Oh, a license-built version of the MiG-21. Ah, okay. That's interesting. So, okay. Normally they just steal it. Isn't that how it works? Normally they just steal the plans for their jets and stuff like that and build their own. But I guess they licensed it from Russia. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently they didn't do a good job of building it because it crashed. So, or maybe it was something else. Who knows why it crashed? They never know whenever the plane crashes. They never really know for sure what happened. Usually, it takes them months and months and months to investigate it. So that kind of sucks that happened. At least 20 people, it says, died. Investigation, yeah, they're not going to be reaction. Okay, so that's kind of a sad thing. Let's see. Okay, there's an obituary. I don't know who these people are. Well, here's an election, Japanese House of Councilors election. Let's see when that happened. I'm going to do something real quick here. I just want to scan this article really quick just to make sure it's Twitch safe. Shouldn't be anything in there, but I've had problems with that before. Okay, so elections to select members of the House of Councilors. Yeah, in Japan they don't have a bicameral. In the U.S. and a lot of other places, they have a Senate and a House of Representatives, or like House of Lords and House of Commons, or what. It's like they bicameral. Like they have the Congress or whatever the legislative body has two separate parts to it, but in Japan it's all one. It's just a unicameral, they call it. They call it the House of Councilors. So anyway, they had an election on July 20th with 124 of the members who were up, I guess, 6-year terms. So I guess 124. So I guess they do. So every other year it looks like they elect half of their members. Yeah, or every 3 years apparently they elect half their members. That's what it looks like. Let's see. The election took place about 10 months into the premiership of Shigeru Ishiba. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. Let me learn how to pronounce that guy's name. I should know that, right? Oh, they don't have it. Oh, here we go. Japanese. No, that doesn't help. Shit, they don't have a pronunciation. Okay, I guess I'll have to just struggle with it next time, whatever. Oh, I see how they do it. He announced the snap elections. Okay, so and let's see what happened here. Hold opposition primaries. Okay, what are the results? What happened? I think something shifted. They shifted power. So I think it went to another party or something. They don't say that here. Here it is. Okay, simultaneously, opposition parties have attempted to unite in an effort to deny the LDP a majority in the election. The Constitutional Democratic Party (CDP) and Ishin no Kaya Party, in particular, formally plans to hold opposition primaries. I don't know. Okay, similar to the outcome in the 24 election, the ruling coalition of the LDP and Komeito lost its majority in the House of Councilors. The LDP's national vote share fell to 21.6%, the lowest result in the party's history. Okay, so they had a shift to something there. All right, whatever. I don't spend too much time on that. It's something to know about, I guess, unless you're really into Japanese politics. Golf, I don't care about golf. Okay, here's another obituary item. Another obituary item. Sports guy, I guess. Okay, there's another obituary item. An actress. Boxing, I don't care about boxing. Why is boxing still legal? Why do they still do that? Somebody explain that to me. Why is boxing still a thing? How can that be? You know, that just makes no sense to me. Sinking of the Wonder Sea. What the hell is this? Tourist boat Wonder Sea capsizes during a thunderstorm, killing 36 people. Oh God, that doesn't look good. Let's see what that is about. All right, I gotta check this out here while you guys wait. All right, I think it's okay. Okay, on July 19th, okay, this is 2 days ago, Saturday, tourist boat Wonder Sea capsized due to high winds during an abrupt thunderstorm in Vietnam, killing at least 36 people. 10 people were rescued with non-fatal injuries, and 3 are still missing. Okay. Huh. All right, well. So the Weather Service didn't know that there was going to be a... Can't they predict thunderstorms? Isn't that kind of something they can predict now? I guess that maybe they cut funding to the Weather Service, and so that's why that happened. Let's see. Okay, well, that's the Sleeping Prince. We covered that. Giora Epstein. I don't think he has anything to do with the other Epstein. Let's see. Okay, so this is mostly just obituary items that they want to put in there. People are nominating. I think the reason why there's so many obituary items that are get nominated is because by the Wikipedia rules, anybody who has an article on Wikipedia who dies, they can nominate them without the nomination being challenged. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in the rules that they can do that. So they end up getting a lot of obituary type nominations in this thing. So I don't know who most of these people were. Oh, here's a treaty. The UK and Germany signed a treaty. Yeah, I heard about this. It's not that big of a deal, I guess. They say it's this is like the first treaty of defense type treaty that the UK and Germany has signed since World War II, which sounds like a big deal, right? But the reason it is because after World War II, then we have NATO, and they're both in NATO, right? And then also both of them were in the European Union, so they had all these different agreements already, particularly through the European Union. They're pretty tight already, right, in that group. But then the UK exited from the European Union and were separate, so they had to set up agreements again now with countries that they want to have defense treaties with. So that's why it happened, and the reason it didn't happen for so long after World War II is because they had these other treaty structures that they had their defense stuff taken care of through. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a big deal or not. They're obviously they're allies, right? There's no question about it. So if one of them got attacked, the other would help anyway. But I guess it's always good to put it down in writing, right? Right. It's always good to put it in writing, just in case. All right. So they got an agreement there. All right. Not a big deal. It's a big deal, I guess. I don't know. Prime Minister of Ukraine. Okay. Let's see what that's about. Okay, so Zelensky is still the president, but they got a new prime minister, I guess. I don't know. Let's see here. I don't know how to pronounce that name. This is the article about this person, anyway. So they should have a pronunciation here for the name. Is that a pronunciation there? I don't know. I can't even read the pronunciation. Look at that. I can't even read the pronunciation they have here. They should have an English type of pronunciation or something, or have a little audio clip. A lot of them, they have a little audio thing. You can just click on it, and it'll say the name for you. But they don't have it on this one, so I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce this lady's name. I assume it's a woman. Let's see if they say she in here. She, yeah, okay, it's a woman, lady. So replaced this other person as prime minister as part of a government reshuffle proposed by Zelensky. Okay. All right, so Zelensky wanted to make some changes, and that's why that happened, I guess. And since they're in the middle of a war, he has unusual power, and he can just do that, I guess. That's what I suppose. I don't know. Let's take a look at that again here. Let's see. So that woman is a new prime minister in Ukraine, and she replaced this guy here. I don't know how to pronounce his name either. He was the old prime minister, and Zelensky. You know who that is, right? It was this whole reshuffling apparently was initiated by him. So that's what happened. All right. So let's see if we got any more articles here. Coot shopping mall fire. Fire at a shopping mall killed 69 people. Oh God, that's horrible. Where's that, in Iraq? Huh. July 17th. Oh, that was a while ago. When was this actually nominated? It doesn't say here. Okay, so anyway, they're talking about this, and you know, some of the editors are saying they want to put that on the front page, and some of them don't. The front page, I mean, they don't have it on here, so it didn't get in there onto this front page here. But that seems like a big deal. Happened in Iraq, in a shopping mall. Huh. Let's see what the cause was. Make sure there isn't something else going on here. Okay, I'm gonna just scan this article real quick, make sure there's nothing there. Okay. Shopping mall fire on July 16th. Okay, so it was 5 days ago. Fire broke out. Hypermall, 5-story commercial building. 69 people were confirmed dead. 11 are missing. Hundreds of people sustained injuries of varying degrees. The fire started during business hours and spread rapidly through the building. How can this happen? I mean, God, how does this kind of stuff happen? Don't they have like I mean, haven't they figured this out? You know, how to prevent this kind of stuff? Man, this is terrible. Shut down due to standard safety violation. Oh wait, here it is. A provincial official said the building originally housed a restaurant which had been shut down due to standard safety violations, noting it was unclear how the building's owner obtained permission to convert it into a multi-story mall with a restaurant on the top floor. So, right, Reckifish said the building had a poor health and safety record. Oh, man. Okay, the Federal Authority for Civil Aviation began investigating Federal Authority for Civil Aviation began investigating the circumstances of the fire. Why would the Civil Aviation Federal Authority be investigating this? There's nothing about a plane crash here. You don't see anything about a plane crash here. That doesn't make sense. They diagnosed the lack of an integrated fire extinguishing system, which caused the fire to engulf the other floors. The lack of emergency exits exacerbated the results, noting the lack of follow-up by the Civil Defense Directorate on the fire extinguishing system upon the center's opening. The Iraqi Minister of Interior temporarily suspended 17 employees and detained 3 officers. In the aftermath of the fire, the Ministry of Interior announced they closed 610 projects and facilities across various governments for violating safety violations as part of an effort to enhance security. Yeah, so now they do it. Yeah, after they have a big thing, then they go and you know, try to shut down places. It's just so they must have very, very high corruption in Iraq right now. that's just a mess. We went in there, we went into Iraq. You know about the Iraq War, right? What was it, in 2003, I think is when it was? The U.S. invaded Iraq. George Bush said that Saddam Hussein was a dictator who was running Iraq at that time, and George Bush, the second George Bush, the son, said, "Oh, they've got weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, so we're going to invade them." But that's not what that had nothing to do with it. There were no weapons of mass destruction. So we went in there. We spent trillions and trillions of dollars, killed hundreds of thousands of people. Just do all this horrible stuff, and it's all for oil, right? And we get done with it, and now here they are. Here's Iraq. Iraq has a totally corrupt system, government, so corrupt that they let, over 60 people, almost 70 people die in this fire because of corruption. They've got, they're aligned with Iran now, right? Iran's supposed to be our enemy, right? According to Trump, right? He says that Iraq is now aligned with Iran. Iran is like, Iran and Iraq are like close buddies right now. And they're not, and Iraq doesn't like the U.S. anymore. So why did we invade? We invaded their country, fought this big war, and now Iraq hates the U.S. and they're aligned with Iran. And they have a corrupt government. And, it's just, why? Same thing happened in Afghanistan. Another oil war. We went in there supposedly to get Al-Qaeda. It was run by the Taliban. So we went in there, fought this big war. We wanted to get Al-Qaeda, and now there's still the Congress is still saying, "Oh, we didn't get all the Al-Qaeda yet. We want to have, authorization for use of military force still because we didn't get all the 25 years later. We didn't get all the Al-Qaeda people yet." And so we fought this war for more than 2 decades in Iraq or in Afghanistan. And what's the result? We're out of Afghanistan. We spent trillions of dollars, and the Taliban is in charge still. Well, why? What's the purpose? So I don't know. Just a tip: if anybody has any control or influence or power or anything in deciding whether we go to war or not, say no. Don't go to war. It's a simple decision. Don't do it. Don't go to war, no matter what. If some terrorist attacks us or something, then yeah, go get whoever did the attack, but don't go to war. Don't launch a big war. Make it a police action. Make a special forces or whatever. Like we got Saddam Hussein, right? That was just a just a one and done thing. I mean, it was part of the whole war thing, right? But it came much later. But that you can take care of the terrorists who did it without having a big frickin' war, and invading, another country and killing and causing refugees, and it's just horrible. It's horrible. Don't do it. If you ever make it a decision, or you ever have any influence over somebody who makes a decision as to whether to go to war or not, don't do it. Don't go to war. Oh, Connie Francis died. Ah, okay. So, what were some of her hits? Let me see if I can find that here. So, how old was she? She was probably in her 90s, I bet, right? Or, let's see, does it say? 87, yeah. 100 million record sales. Okay, that's pretty good. for the time. Let's see, what did she, that's kind of a, do they have any samples of her stuff I can play? No, I guess not. Huh. Alright, so she died. I'm just going to play some of these. So 50s through, well, basically 50s and 60s, I guess. And she had a couple of them later on. Oh no, wait, wait, these are biography. Okay. Alright, those are just books. That's a film she did in 66. So it's basically just pretty short here, a 10-year period in the 50s and 60s. Huh. I'm gonna see if I could find one here that. Sometimes they have a little sample of the thing and you can play it, but I guess not on this one. All right. So Connie Francis died. What else we got here? Gary Carr. Okay, this is, they're investigating some historic institutional abuses there. Let's see. In Ireland. What is this? Becomes the first female president of Suriname. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's look at that here. Surinamese? Is that how you pronounce it? Surinamese. Surinamese, huh? Physician and politician. Okay. So how did she get in there? Announced her retirement from politics. Okay, president. Okay, on July 3rd, the Progressive Reform Party said it would not put forward a candidate against this person. No one else. Oh, okay, no one else lodged a candidacy by the deadline, assuring that she would win the election. Well, that's not very good. Elected unopposed as president, July 6th. Well, okay, well, that's interesting. I guess it's always good to have more women in politics, right? It's been dominated by men for a long time, so. Let's see here. Oh shit, I had the wrong thing up when I did that. Let me show that to you here. Okay, Jennifer Geerling Simmons. Jennifer Geerling Simmons, this lady here. So, president of Suriname. So it says here that it says no one lodged a candidacy to oppose her. I don't know what the politics are in Suriname, if it's if they're a democracy or not. You know, let's look that up real quick here. democracy or not. Yeah, these, it doesn't say here if they're a democracy or not. Would that be under politics, maybe? Representative Democratic Republic, based on a constitution. But I wonder if they really are. Sometimes countries will say that they're a democracy and they're not. You know. Well, I can look that up later, I guess. Sounds like they got kind of at least a halfway democracy. Kind of like the U.S. We almost have a democracy. That actually changed. Did you know that actually changed? They, the U.S. used to be like the most democratic, you know, the biggest shining light on the hill and all that. We're not listed as a democracy anymore, and on the lists, you know, where they have lists of, you know, how free the different countries are, or if they're a democracy or whatnot, and all that. We're not listed as democracies anymore on those lists, which is, that really sucks, you know. For anybody who is confused about that, we're not a democracy anymore, you know. We gotta try to get that back. I think it's important. Better to be free than not free. Okay, another death. What do we got here? Okay. Well, it's just death announcements here. Okay. Alright, so I don't know. Let me see if Democracy Now! Has what's going on there. They have a new... Oh, here they go. They got a new show here. Let's see what that is. Should we watch that? Let's watch that. Democracy Now! Let's see what they talk about. Yeah, content warning. Yeah. Content warning. We're going to talk about the news, so.
Controversial humanitarian aid system and starvation in Gaza. 19 Palestinians died of starvation Sunday.
We are dying of hunger. We cannot find food or drink, not even water. We drink from the sea, and we can't find any food at all.
Then a 9/7/2 expose. Israeli soldiers say dropping grenades from drones in Gaza is, quote, like a video game, and that the goal is for Palestinians to learn through blood. Then fired, laid off, or rift. That's reduction in force. Federal workers speak out.
Every day at my office is like an 8-hour funeral.
I really think that people are going to die.
If hurricane tracking isn't being done, you're setting this nation up for just disaster, really.
So just meeting with our information technology team to share data across government agencies that has not been done before, and that is really terrifying.
A new audio series called I Do Solemnly Swear will speak with the journalists behind the project as the Trump administration shutters the research arm of the EPA.
All right. I paused this because Twitch decided to run a commercial here again, commercial break. So you may be seeing commercials. You probably if you're watching live, you're seeing commercials right now. If you're watching on the VOD, you're probably not seeing commercials. But I paused it just so folks can follow along if they aren't subscribed or whatever. So, another minute or so, and then the ads will be over. The food commercial, trying to get people to eat food. Are they going to show people eating food? That's always the thing. But at least they're not showing people eating food. They showed food. There it is. Yeah, they still showed food though. It's a food cue. All right. All right, let's get this.
Solemnly swear we'll speak with the journalists behind the project as the Trump administration shutters the research arm of the EPA. We'll speak with one of its former top administrators. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israeli forces killed at least 115 Palestinians Sunday, including 92 people who died while seeking aid. In the deadliest attack, Israeli troops massacred at least 79 people at the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza, where Palestinians gathered to wait for 25 aid trucks from the UN World Food Program. In a statement, the UN agency said, quote, as the convoy approached, the surrounding crowd came under fire from Israeli tanks, snipers, and other gunfire, unquote. The head of Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City said the facility was overwhelmed with victims shot by Israel.
Now Al-Shifa Hospital is full of martyrs and wounded. The situation is catastrophic. We can no longer handle the influx of injuries, so we have started directing patients to other field hospitals. The situation is extremely bad and disastrous. There are so many dead and wounded, and we simply cannot treat them all. The Israeli army is targeting anyone heading to get food in the Zakim area. People are starving. Signs of malnutrition are starting to appear.
Dr. Hassan Al-Sher is head of Shifa Hospital. The attack came as the World Food Program warned Gaza's hunger crisis have reached new levels of desperation. Gaza's health ministry says at least 19 people have starved to death over the past day, including a 35-day-old infant and a 3-month-old baby named Yahya al-Najjar. This is Yahya's Uncle Anan.
He died due to malnutrition and the unavailability of baby formula at the Gaza Strip. We urge the entire world, all Arab countries, and everyone with a living consciousness, humanity, and dignity to just stand with the children, just to let baby formula get into the Gaza Strip.
In other news from Gaza, Israel's launched a ground and air assault on the city of Deir al-Balah, where thousands of displaced Palestinians have been sheltering. On Sunday, Pope Leo called for an end to what he called the barbarity of war after Israel bombed the only Catholic church in Gaza last week, killing at least 3 people and injuring several others, including the parish priest. Pope Leo spoke at the Vatican.
This act sadly adds to the ongoing military attacks against the civilian population and places of worship in Gaza. Once again, I call for an immediate end to the barbarity of war. I appeal to the international community to observe humanitarian law and respect the obligation to protect civilians, as well as the prohibition of collective punishment, of indiscriminate use of force, and forced displacement of the population.
In Britain, the police have arrested another 100 people for expressing support for the group Palestine Action, which was recently banned under Britain's Terrorism Act. Across Britain, demonstrators held signs reading, quote, I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action, unquote. Meanwhile, the Freedom Flotilla coalition ship, the Handala, has begun its final leg to Gaza. The ship set sail from southern Italy Sunday with the aim of breaking the Israeli blockade on Gaza.
Wait a second. They said they banned a group? Was that a group that... I want to hear that again. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. It sounded like they banned a group that was just supporting the Palestinians.
The police have arrested another 100 people for expressing support for the group Palestine Action, which was recently banned under Britain's Terrorism Act. Across Britain, demonstrators held signs reading, quote, "I oppose genocide. I support Palestine Action," unquote. Meanwhile, the Freedom Flotilla...
What does that mean? I'm going to look up... I'm sorry to interrupt this here, but I want to look up and see exactly what that group is. Because they didn't explain it. They didn't, it sounds like they're, I'm going to look this up here. Palestine Action. Oops. Shit. Action. Okay. All right. Do this here real quick. I'm going to look this up to see exactly what this is. Let's see what Wikipedia says about it anyway. All right. So I got the Wikipedia article up here. And it says that Palestine Action is a British pro-Palestine protest network founded in 2020 with the stated goal of ending Israeli apartheid. The organization also became active in the Gaza war protests in the United Kingdom. In the wake of the ongoing Gaza war, the group disrupts the arms industry in the United Kingdom with direct action, as the organization accuses the arms industry of being complicit in what they describe as a genocide in Gaza. Key targets have been British factories of Israeli weapons manufacturer with the Elbit systems. In their campaigns, Palestine Action have used protest, occupation of premises, destruction of property, and vandalism, which sometimes results in its members being arrested. Palestine Action describes its action as non-violent yet disruptive, saying it has never hurt a human being. The British government has proscribed Palestine Action as a terrorist group from July 5th under UK's Terrorism Act, making it illegal to fundraise for it or wear or display anything arousing reasonable suspicion of support, or to express an opinion or belief supportive of Palestine Action, which might encourage others to support it. Well, that sucks. I guess UK is no longer a democracy either. Wow, that sucks. Yeah, if they're stopping people from expressing opinions, that's not good. It's bad that I don't know. Yeah, destruction of property and vandalism. I don't know, compared to what's going on in Gaza, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, if they're arresting people just for speech, that means the UK isn't a democracy anymore. If they're arresting people for expressing free speech, that's ridiculous. All right, let me go back here. All right, we'll continue watching this. Well, let me see if I've got an ad coming up here first. Let's see, ads. Okay, it says I've got 6 minutes yet. Okay, so we can do this here. Do at least another 6 minutes of this.
Coalition ship, the Handala, has begun its final leg to Gaza. The ship set sail from southern Italy Sunday with the aim of breaking the Israeli blockade on Gaza. The Syrian government announced another ceasefire deal on Saturday between Bedouin and Druze groups in the southern province of Sweda. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says over 1,000 people have died in recent fighting in Sweda. Israel backed the Druze by launching multiple attacks on Syria last week. In a surprising prisoner swap, more than 250 Venezuelan immigrants were released from El Salvador's mega prison Secat in exchange for 10 Americans and U.S. permanent residents who were in Venezuelan custody. The three-country deal comes over 3 months after the Trump administration rounded up the Venezuelan immigrants and sent them to El Salvador without due process, even though many of them had open asylum cases in the U.S. Among those freed in the exchange is Andrea Hernandez Romero, a 33-year-old gay makeup artist who was wrongfully accused of being a gang member by the Trump administration over 2 crown tattoos he has on each arm with the words Mom and Dad. The freed Americans include 37-year-old Lucas Hunter, who'd been in Venezuelan custody since late last year. This comes as advocates in El Salvador continue to demand the release of tens of thousands of Salvadorans detained at Secat and other prisons without access to due process under President Nayib Bukele's so-called state of emergency. Many have been tortured in police custody. People held in a Miami immigration jail describe being shackled with their hands tied behind their backs and forced to kneel to eat from styrofoam plates on the floor like dogs. That's according to testimonies in a new Human Rights Watch report published today detailing abusive conditions at the Chrome Jail and 2 other detention facilities in Florida operated by ICE. The report also says officers have denied detainees critical medication and held some of them incommunicado and solitary confinement as an apparent punishment for seeking mental health care. Detained immigrants were also routinely denied access to legal counsel. In more immigration news, an 82-year-old grandfather from Pennsylvania was quietly deported to Guatemala after he was apprehended during a visit to an ICE office to replace his lost green card. Luis Leon lived in the U.S. for nearly 40 years. He was granted political asylum in the U.S. in 1987 after surviving torture under the military regime of the Chilean U.S.-backed dictator Augusto Pinochet. His family says they were initially told he was dead, then learned he was in a hospital in Guatemala, a country he has no connection to. Guatemala is one of nearly a dozen countries that has an agreement with the Trump administration to receive deported immigrants of other nationalities. Related news here in New York, a 19-year-old high school student has reunited with his family after ICE agents arrested him in June at his asylum hearing. Derlis Chusan is from Ecuador and has been living with his relatives in Queens. This is a member of the legal team, Melissa Chua of New York Legal Assistance Group.
We are so excited to welcome Derlis home. He was taken a month ago in immigration detention, violently taken from his family, held at 26 Federal Plaza for many days in horrible conditions, and then transported to Texas, far away from his family, community, friends, and school. And you can see how much they've missed him because we have a number of supporters from his home, from his community, from his school here with him, waiting for him today.
Another New York high school student, only identified as Dylan, remains in ICE custody since being taken by federal agents at a routine immigration hearing in May. Dylan's a 20-year-old asylum seeker from Venezuela. In Georgia, prosecutors have dropped all charges against the prominent Spanish-language journalist Mario Guevara, but he still faces deportation and remains jailed at an ICE detention center in Folkestone. Guevara was arrested while covering No Kings demonstrations in June. He's lived in the United States for some 20 years and has built a large following for his reporting on anti-ICE protests. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem lashed out at journalists during a press briefing in Nashville, Tennessee Friday, denying widespread evidence that ICE agents are racially profiling people. The reporter is heard saying, quote, ICE operations are taking place predominantly in Latino communities before being interrupted by Noem.
My audience is predominantly Latino. So they kind of every day say they're fearful because a lot of people have been targeted based on their skin color, not necessarily.
That is not true. And so that has been another false narrative that has been put out there in the media that I absolutely want to throw back at you and say that is absolutely false, and don't you dare ever say that again.
The Democratic Republic of Congo and rebel forces have agreed to a declaration of principles aimed at ending the conflict in eastern Congo. A final peace deal with the Rwanda-backed M23 is set to be signed in August. Negotiations have been brokered by the U.S. and Qatar. Rwanda has been accused of supporting M23, which has seized major portions of the eastern DRC, including the cities of Goma and Bukavu, killing thousands of people and displacing hundreds of thousands more since January. Police in Brazil raided the home and political headquarters of former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro Friday. Brazil's Supreme Court also ordered Bolsonaro to wear an electronic ankle monitor, citing fears he may flee the country amidst his trial for plotting a coup to stay in power. Brazilian authorities also accused Bolsonaro of working with the United States to impose sanctions on Brazil after President Trump threatened to slap a 50% tariff on Brazil over the prosecution of Bolsonaro. On Friday, the Trump administration escalated its attacks on Brazil by revoking visas for 8 of Brazil's 11 Supreme Court justices. In the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency has announced it'll shut down its scientific research arm. The move has sparked widespread backlash from public health experts and climate advocates who've warned this could lead to the dismantling of protections that shield communities from hazardous chemicals, water contaminants, and toxic pollution. Gretchen Goldman, president of the Union of Concerned Scientists, said in a statement, quote, "The nation enjoys a cleaner environment thanks to the decades of high-quality research coming out of this office. Our nation cannot let this stand," unquote. This comes as the EPA is also seeking to delay monitoring.
Okay, we got an ad playing. I don't know how long it's been playing. I'm going to back this up a little bit here. All right, so we got another minute yet of the ad. If you're on the, if you're watching on the YouTube or on my website, doubletribble.com or somewhere, then you're not seeing this ad. But the people on Twitch, this is like a live broadcast, right? It's just a recording of a live broadcast. So the live people who are watching it are seeing the ad. Probably. All right. So as soon as this ad is over, then I will restart this, and it'll play the part that got stomped on by the ad here, because I backed it up a little bit, which will repeat. It'll be a little bit of a repeat for you guys, but that's okay.
It's attacks on Brazil by revoking visas for 8 of Brazil's 11 Supreme Court justices. In the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency has announced it'll shut down its scientific research arm. The move has sparked widespread backlash from public health experts and climate advocates who've warned this could lead to the dismantling of protections that shield communities from hazardous chemicals, water contaminants, and toxic pollution. Gretchen Goldman, president of the Union of Concerned Scientists, said in a statement, quote, "The nation enjoys a cleaner environment thanks to the decades of high-quality research coming out of this office. Our nation cannot let this stand," unquote. This comes as the EPA is also seeking to delay monitoring and cleanup requirements for toxic coal ash, allowing coal plants to stall cleanup beyond the year 2030. President Trump's threatening to block a new stadium deal for the Washington Commanders football team unless the team restores its old name, the Washington Redskins. Trump also called for the Cleveland Guardians baseball team to resume using its old name, the Cleveland Indians. Both teams had changed their names following years of protests by Native American groups and their allies. In a major victory...
I did a stream on this. If you look in my VODs back, I don't know, it was a month ago or something like that. I did a stream where I talked about that and why that's a deal, you know, why people change their names, and you know, the government can't tell a company what names it can name its product, because we have free speech in the United States. But if a sports team or a product or something like that has a name that is offensive to people, and people stop buying the product or stop watching the sports team play or whatever, then it's free market, right? We have free speech, free market. The company, if people are not buying their product, then they'll change. They change it so that they can buy the product, okay? So now what, apparently, according to what Democracy Now! Just said, Trump is trying to use the government to force companies to name their products what Trump wants them to be named. That's not free. That's not free. That's the government interfering with commerce, with the free market. How are the mega people supposed to follow that? That has nothing to do with anything about what the Republicans want, what the MAGA people want, or anything, or what Trump says he wants. That's the government interfering in the free market, telling companies what to name their products. Right? Oh, and by the way, Redskins is offensive, you know, and Aunt Jemima and all that. Those are all offensive names. That's why they all changed them, because people didn't want to go to their sports events anymore, didn't want to buy their products anymore. That's why the company changed the name, because people don't like it. And so now Trump is trying to force what he wants the companies to name their products. What the hell is that?
For cryptocurrency industry, President Trump signed the first federal legislation to regulate stablecoins. The group Consumer Reports criticized the legislation, saying it fails to protect consumers and the economy from the risks posed by these digital assets. President Trump has filed a $10 billion libel lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch, the Wall Street Journal's parent company, Dow Jones, and two reporters, after the Wall Street Journal reported Trump had contributed a sketch drawing of a naked woman to a birthday album for serial sex trafficker and rapist Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. CNN's described the lawsuit as a, quote, extraordinary escalation of Trump's ongoing legal campaign against the media companies he views as opponents. Unquote. Trump's close ties to Jeffrey Epstein are coming under increasing scrutiny as demands grow for the Trump administration to release files on Epstein, who died in prison in 2019. Especially strong are the demands by the MAGA base. Over the weekend, the New York Times revealed a former Epstein employee told the FBI in 1996 about a troubling encounter with Trump in Epstein's New York office. In other media news,
that whole thing about Trump suing people for saying stuff that he doesn't like. In the United States, public officials cannot sue people for libel. In most cases. Because it has to do with free speech, it has to do with political speech. If somebody is saying something about a public official, even if it's not true or whatever, they're expressing an opinion, even if they say stuff that's not true, they can still do that, and the public official cannot sue the person for that. That's established law for a long time. They can't sue for that. What's going on here is Trump wants to get bribes from people. And one way to legally get a bribe of a whole bunch of money from a company is to pretend to sue them and then have them, quote unquote, settle the case by giving Trump a bunch of money. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's just a way of a company to bribe the president. That's what that's about. Has nothing to do with libel or free speech. Because the case it has no validity at all. You can say whatever you want about a public official, even if it's not true. Especially the president. You know? That's established law. There's no case there at all. Any court, if that thing went to court, if it went to trial or anything, the judges, in fact, the judge should throw this case out right off the summary judgment. No, there's no case. That's how it should be done. But that's not what it's about. It's about getting bribes. It's about companies bribing the president.
The Writers Guild of America is urging New York officials to investigate Paramount's decision to cancel Stephen Colbert's late-night show on CBS. Colbert's show was canceled just days after he called out Paramount for agreeing to pay President Trump $16 million to settle Trump's lawsuit against CBS's 60 Minutes. In a statement, the Writers Guild said, quote, "Given Paramount's recent capitulation to President Trump in the CBS News lawsuit, the Writers Guild of America has significant concerns that the Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval."
There you go. That's a bribe.
Unquote. And in news from Minnesota, the Minneapolis...
They didn't say that. What I heard about that, what I heard was that Stephen Colbert, I didn't see Stephen, I don't watch mainstream media, but I heard about this story. My understanding is that Stephen Colbert said that CBS's payment was a bribe to Trump. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I heard. Somebody who was covering the thing said that, and they said it right there. What did they say there? Let me back this up here. Given Paramount's recent capitulation to, okay, it's Paramount, the parent company, not CBS, but the parent company. The Writers Guild of America has significant concerns. The Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, so they're trying to merge. Oh, God, this is so fucked up. God, this is ridiculous. We are so far beyond a democracy at this point. We're not even close to a democracy at this point. Please, please, please support the revolution. Support the revolution. Take down this regime now. Anything you can do. Anything at all that you can do to bring down this regime, non-violently, of course, not peaceful, non-violent revolution to take down this regime and replace it with a democracy. Please, please. Anything you can do to support that. Some ideas to help support it. Stop working, stop buying stuff, join the worldwide general boycott. Stop driving around. Stop watching mainstream media. And for God's sakes, never ever vote for an incumbent. Ever. Doesn't matter if they got a D or an R next to their name. Blame Congress. That's why we're losing our democracy. It's Congress. Blame Congress. Don't vote for your congressperson. Whether they got a D or an R, it doesn't make any difference. They're all the same. Vote for somebody else. Vote for the Forward Party candidate or the Libertarian or anybody. It doesn't matter. Green Party. Vote for anybody you can. Don't vote for the incumbent. Please. If we actually do have an election, because it's questionable at this point whether we're going to have actual elections here coming up.
Sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval, unquote. And in news from Minnesota, the Minneapolis Democratic Farmer Labor Party has endorsed Democratic Socialist State Senator Omar Fatah for mayor over two-term incumbent Mayor Jacob Fry, who plans to run for re-election. Fatah is the first Somali American and the first Muslim to serve in the Minnesota Senate. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In one of the deadliest days yet for
okay. Well, I think they're going to, let me see if I think they're going to talk about Gaza. Yeah, this is just more. Let's see what the story is here.
Begin firing hundreds of chemists, biologists, and toxicologists and other science agency announced again with a Supreme Goodman. We look now.
All right, so I skipped over a couple things here, which I think were just about Gaza or Israel or something, and everybody knows about that, I guess. And it's just, I'm concerned that they might show images that might not be twitchable, so I'm skipping over those.
At the impact of major cuts by the Trump administration to key federal agencies. Last week began with a Supreme Court order that cleared the way for the mass layoffs at the Education Department, and ended Friday with the Environmental Protection Agency announcing it'll eliminate its scientific research arm and begin firing hundreds of chemists, biologists, and toxicologists and other scientists after denying for months it intended to do so. The move has sparked widespread backlash from public health experts and climate advocates who've warned this could lead to the dismantling of protections that shield communities from hazardous chemicals, water contaminants, and toxic pollution. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin has aggressively gutted the EPA staff and other regulations at President Trump's behest. For more, we go to Durham, North Carolina, where we're joined by Jennifer Orme-Zavaleta, a former principal deputy assistant administrator for science at the EPA Office of Research and Development. We welcome you to Democracy Now! Can you talk about the significance of wiping out your agency, your office within the EPA?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So the Office of Research and Development was part of EPA upon its creation. And the main purpose for the office is to provide science to help inform agency decisions and help to solve environmental problems. It provides essential information on air quality, water quality, the communities where we live, and helping to ensure that they're safe, and more importantly, protecting public health. By eliminating this office, the administration has also proposed creation of a different science office that would be under the administrator's office, and moving some staff to the agency's program offices, the air, water, chemicals office, and the land and emergency management office. But it's also been encouraging a number of staff to leave through these deferred resignation programs or early retirements. And by doing so, we are losing a treasure trove of historical knowledge, of scientific expertise, and really it's going to limit what information, what science would be available for the agency to consider in protecting our health and our environment.
Okay, so that sucks, right? That's going to be really, really bad, right? I mean, there is a lot of bloat, right? We know that there's a lot of stuff and bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff, but doing that you know, getting rid of the science, that screws things up. Then we can't make decisions that way, and people get hurt that way. So I know we got some ads coming here again, so I'm going to have to pause this again just a little bit. So any second here now the ads will start, but I'm going to take a break here so people who are watching on Twitch won't miss anything. So if you're watching on a VOD, I guess you can just skip over this part. So. Well, it says that there are no. There we go. Okay. All right, so the ads are wrong. Yeah, that sucks about that. I mean, yeah, we know that the government is a big, huge bureaucracy, and there's a lot of waste and blah blah blah. You know, right? Of course. But it seems like he's, you know, I don't see him laying off a bunch of people in the Defense Department, right? Why don't they? Why isn't that happening? Right? Why aren't they firing a bunch of people in the Defense Department or the, you know, what about all these subsidies? I don't know. All right, let's go back and continue this thing here.
Doge talks about the restructuring saving the country money. I think something like $748 million. Are they really saving the government money here, or just using this as an excuse to wipe out regulations that have been put in place to protect Americans?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be saving. It's saving money. And first off, the 700 million budget exceeds what ORD's budget is, and if anything, it's going to be shifting the economic burden, sending it more to communities, to hospitals, to families, and helping to address their healthy needs. It's the cost saving is just a guise. It's misleading, and it's going to have consequences for the American taxpayer. People are not going to be protected. So
let me ask you something. The EPA says it'll create a new office called the Office of Applied Science and Environmental Solutions to replace your office's functions. Could you talk about the significance of this?
Sure. So right now, the Office of Research and Development is a national program office, and it's to be led by a Senate-confirmed leader, assistant administrator. And those assistant administrators have usually been very well-respected, renowned scientists. By moving this office, by eliminating ORD and moving it to the administrator's office, it will not be led by a Senate-confirmed leader. It will be under the administrator's office, which opens the door for perhaps greater political oversight. And it's unclear really what the function of this office is going to be, what kind of research, if any, they'll be conducting, or are they going to be really an in-house contract laboratory that will only do work as requested by the programs within the agency.
Jennifer Orme-Zavaleta, I want to thank you for being with us, former Principal Deputy Assistant Administrator for Science at the EPA Office of Research and Development. The EPA has announced it's shuttering this scientific research arm, with hundreds of scientists expected to be impacted, not to mention the number of people across this country. To talk more about the impact of cuts by the Trump administration that are dismantling essential services provided by the federal government, we turn to some of the voices featured in a new series made by members of Federal Workers Against Doge, which now has about 2,000 current and former federal workers. The project is called I Do Solemnly Swear and features a dozen current federal workers across agencies like FAA, CDC, EPA, and the IRS. They shared their testimonials anonymously. This is an employee of the Internal Revenue Service speaking about tech companies collecting data from the IRS.
You've got contractors like Palantir coming in, and you've got Microsoft and all of these tech guys who We're standing at the inauguration together, working together with federal agencies on your data, on your information. And I have not read enough sci-fi novels to see or to understand what's coming or what's happening. I'm trying to piece together how the IRS is going to shift away from tax compliance and the fairness aspect into using the IRS criminal investigation officers as police officers. We don't think that the people that were elected are now the people that they warned us about. We can't comprehend that our data is going to be used in malicious ways by the federal government. So now, who's the bad guys? And we just don't know. But what we're seeing is this administration is testing everything, including laws. Hey, can we get away with this? I would bet that in the long term, what we will see is that government will have to repair the damage that is being done by Doge.
So that was an Internal Revenue Service worker featured in the new series, I Do Solemnly Swear. This is another testimonial featuring a FAA, a Federal Aviation Administration worker, describing FAA regulations being removed.
You know, we say at the FAA that our rules are and what that means is every rule that we have to regulate air traffic control and pilots, every single one of those was created because there was a disaster and people died. We have people coming in to FAA now saying they know a better way to do it when they don't even know why FAA does things the way it does. The rules are not written in crayon for people to come in and try to haphazardly change things without recognizing that when things were done a different way, people died. It's so difficult to see people who really do want to do the job well put into these awful situations where they're forced to choose between protecting the public or protecting their jobs. That's not something we should have to choose between. When you see leadership cutting corners instead of doing their due diligence, firing people indiscriminately, no matter how mission critical they are. You know, I think if you asked me today if I would feel safe getting on a plane in this country, I would say yes. You know, maybe I'm an optimist, but I believe in our frontline staff, and they work so hard to make this one of the safest places in the world to fly on an airplane. But, you know, ask me that question again in 6 months, and I might give you a different answer.
So that's a Federal Aviation Administration worker, a worker at the FAA, featured in the new series, I Do Solemnly Swear. For more, we're joined by the series director and co-producer, Laura Nix, a Peabody Award-winning, Oscar and Emmy-nominated filmmaker.
Okay, I just, they're going to get into a bunch of detail here that's just going to waste time, I think. So I'm going to skip that. You can go to, where is it? Where are they at? democracynow.org if you want to see it. There's the link. Can you see that? Let me put that up there again. Yeah, here's the link. If you want to go to it, here, I'll put it in chat. There you go. All right, I put it in chat if you want to see the whole show. But that's anyway. There were a couple things there that Trump is doing that is the exact opposite of what the narrative is from those groups, right? The whole thing that Republicans and MAGA and all that want is the government to get out of people's shit, right? But what he's proposing a couple different things there. That I saw that are totally the opposite of that. One, he wants to tell people what they can eat. He wants to tell poor people what they can and cannot eat with the changes in the SNAP program. And two, he wants to tell companies what to name their products. He's telling the sports teams that they have to make their products a name that he wants the name to be. The reason why they changed the name of their product is because their customers didn't want to buy their stuff anymore because they had offensive names on their products. That's free market, you know. But no, Trump doesn't want that. He didn't want free market. He wants to be a dictator and tell people what to name their products and what to eat, what they can and cannot eat. Okay, you see what's going on there, people? Are you people you MAGA folks? You see what's going on here now? Have you figured it out yet? All the rest of us figured it out a long time ago. Hopefully, you guys have figured it out now. What's going on? He's a dictator. He wants to tell people what to do, to micromanage what companies can do, what people can eat, what they can't eat. Okay, that's what's going on. That's who you've been supporting all this time, you MAGA people. All right. There was one story that they didn't talk about that I do want to mention here. Nobody mentioned it. Kind of weird. I'm going to do a search here in the news and see if I can find somebody who actually covered this. Here it is. Okay. All right. This is a news story. This is a Google search that I did here. I don't know how to make this dark. Sorry, this is kind of bright. Yeah, KQED is, or KXQE is my Google account for my YouTube videos that are edited. If you want to see that, the non-edited ones are doubletribble-yt. The edited ones are at KXQE. Trump or somebody announced that Trump has something called chronic venous insufficiency. And of course, they're keeping most of it. The fact that they announced it kind of means something, I think. He's probably going to be doing some sort of a change, you know, because of this. And they had to announce it, right? He wouldn't have announced this if it wasn't a big deal, right? If there wasn't something that's really affecting what's going on here. So what I would do here now, I think, is I'm going to look up the Wikipedia article on this. Okay. All right, this is, I'm going to do a content warning here. I'm talking about medical stuff. And they're going to show some things here. I got to change something here. I think I have to actually change my warnings that I give here for the stream, because it's too I got to change my content label. Let's see here. Profanity, vulgarities, violent or graphic depictions simulations and/or depictions of realistic violence, gore, extreme injury, or death. Okay, I'm going to click that one and make that my my thing now. All right, click. I don't know. So okay, so now if you go to my stream, it should have a label on it. Now, if somebody comes to the stream, it'll warn them. There it is. Okay. So if you're watching right now, you got to click OK if you want to continue watching, because I put a label up there. And the reason I put the label up there is because I'm going to show you some stuff that it explains what the condition is that the president has. And there it is. This is what the president has: chronic venous insufficiency. Okay. So it's a big deal. That's why they announced it. It could be, it's there's a range. They have signs and symptoms. It could be anything from varicose veins to gangrene, or even leg ulcers and everything. So there's a range of stuff. But the fact that he announced it means that it's probably a big deal. I don't think that he would have announced it if it wasn't a big deal. So it's basically the veins, right? It's you get the arteries and the veins, right? And the veins is the one that sends the blood back up to after it's gone down to the whatever and does its job at the at the extremities or anywhere in the body. Then it comes back up through the veins back to the heart again and get more blood or more oxygen in the lungs and all that, and then goes back out again. So these are the veins, and they have little valves, and it says the most common cause of chronic venous insufficiency is reflux of the venous valves of superficial veins. This may, in turn, be caused by several conditions, and it's got different things, reasons why that might happen. It's just, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know what, they just announced it. I don't know what the reason would be why you would have it. Oh, there's an ulcer in the thing, so it can cause ulcers. So it's a big deal, and it can can eventually. So he's really old. He's in his 80s now, and so looks like we won't have to put up with this for much longer. Everybody's worried that he wouldn't leave. What is it, 28, 29, January 29. That's still a long ways away, isn't it? Got to put up with all this. But he might not even make it there. We'll see. It's possible he won't make it that far. But yeah, this is these are the veins, and the veins are the venous insufficiency. So the vein, another thing that veins do is Trump has let's see, do I have to do another warning on here? I don't think I have to do another warning here. But the veins do they serve another function. There's Trump, this is probably what's happening to Trump right now, right? It's normally, this is normal, right? And then with this venous insufficiency, then it's like this. You get it, right? This is normal, and now this is Trump. Get it? That's what happens when when guys get venous insufficiency. One of the reasons why that happened. A lot of reasons why that could happen, I guess. So that's probably what's going on with Trump too. Besides this, this here, all right? That's I don't know. That's what his feet look like. He's probably not going to show his feet. I doubt it. I doubt if he's going to show his feet, but that's probably what's happening. He's got bruising on his hands, which I don't know if that's part of this or what. I don't know what that is, but yeah. So yeah, vegans don't have that kind of problem. They are the vascular systems of vegans, for the most part, don't have those vascular problems. You know, we don't have narrowing of the arteries. We don't have this. You know, we don't have all those problems that people who eat meat have. So that's Trump eating his tacos or taco salad or whatever. Who knows what it is, but he's got a problem there. So I don't know. We got all we can do is hope for the best, right? Let's hope for the best outcome. So, all right. I don't think there's anything else I got to do here. What is it? I've been on over 3 hours. That's a long stream for me, so I don't have enough people watching to rate out. So, all right. Appreciate everybody coming to the stream. And watching. So what did we do today? We did, what did we do? We did the IRL at the Norwich Farmers Market. So that was kind of cool. That was a live thing, live stream, a delayed live stream. And then we did, I talked about vegan prepping a little bit. I didn't get into a lot of detail on that, but got into that a little bit. Oh, I didn't mention my fan. I fixed this thing here. See how that's spinning there? You see that? Yeah, you can see that spinning, can't you? Right there. It's working really well. I fixed it, and then it when I fixed it, it was messed up and it was hitting the side and making a bunch of noise and stuff. And so I took it down and re-glued it again, and now it's working great. And it seems to be balanced really well and doesn't make any noise. Listen to this. I'll put the mic right next to it, and hear if you can hear it. Can you hear that? You can't even hear that, can you? Good. That's really good. So that's good. So I saved the fan by repairing the fan blade on it. That's what we got to do, right? Recycle, repair, reuse, regift, recycle, whatever. You know, don't buy stuff. Don't buy stuff. Support the revolution. Don't buy anything. Don't go to work anymore if you can. If you have to go, go cut it down to as slow down as few days as possible going to work. Don't drive. Don't travel. That's how we're going to do this. Okay. And don't watch mainstream media because they'll tell you some other bullshit. And you won't understand it. That's the thing. If all you're doing is if you're watching mainstream media all the time, you won't understand. You have to stop watching mainstream media for at least 6 months and watch other things and look at other stuff and figure out what is actually going on. Go to Wikipedia or these other sites that have actual information that is checked out by people and stuff like that and verified and all that. And but don't watch mainstream media because they're not gonna give you the real story. and do all those other things. Don't support any incumbent. Blame Congress. Blame Congress for what's going on. Make sure you blame Congress. The whole deal is they want you to blame this guy who's going to kick the bucket here in a couple years, right? So they don't have to take the blame. That's the whole strategy here, is to have this guy, to have everybody hate this guy, this orange guy, and blame everything on him. But it's all the shit he's doing is stuff that they want him to do. Just about everybody in Congress wants him to do that, whether they say they want to or not. They do. They're getting bribes from all these companies that are benefiting from what Trump is doing. So blame Congress. Yeah, you can blame Trump too. Sure, great, blame Trump, but blame Congress. That's who you're going to vote for. That's who we're going to be voting against in the next election, if we have another election. If we don't have an election, then we got to go to a different strategy, a little more aggressive, But for now, don't vote for any incumbent. Stop working if you can. If you can't stop working completely, slow down. Only work, a day or two if you can, or whatever. Stop buying things. Don't buy, just buy the basics. Buy food, toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Just buy the basics. And if you have to buy something, make sure you buy it from somebody who's not a billionaire. Don't buy it at Walmart. Buy it from your local store or shop, or barter. That's another thing. Barter with people. That's another thing you can do. And don't drive. You don't want to give any money to the oil companies. They're the ones who are responsible for all these wars. So don't support them. Don't, and don't travel. For God's sakes, don't, get on an airplane, travel somewhere. Spend a bunch of money doing that. Make sure you use a condom. Don't make any more people who are going to make the situation worse. Don't breed. Just a lot of stuff. And you can't do all of it. Some people, you can't do everything, right? You can't do everything, right? But pick as many of those things as you can that you think you can actually do, and do them. If you can stop working, if you're in a situation where you can only work a day or two a week, do that. If you're in a situation where you can cut back on your spending and only do the basics, go to the park, go for a hike, go do other things for entertainment. If you can. So just slow down as much as possible, because we got to bring down this regime, or replace it with a government that actually cares about the people. So, all right, enough of my rant. Let me put my links here in the chat. If you're on Twitch, those are my links. Let's see. Do I have them anywhere else here? No, I don't think I have my links anywhere else. Time. No. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Meeting adjourned, I guess. I don't know. Meeting adjourned. All right, everybody. Take care. I'm forgetting something important here, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to play my closing doohickey here. So everybody take care. Bye. There are my socials. You see that? There are my socials. All right. Oh shit, it went back and played this whole thing again. All right. There we go, there's squirrels.